Hello, and welcome to the final night of Bedtime Stories with the board. Our board of school directors have been so proud this year to be able to give back and give of their time in order to share stories with you and your families each night over the past few weeks. The closure has really caused an upside down turning of our lives, our normals, our routines, everything has been adjusted greatly or at least somewhat in all of our households. And so our board of school directors, even in some small way, giving of their time, sharing stories with you, trying to provide some level of normalcy, or just maybe a distraction. And so tonight is the final night of Bedtime Stories with the board, and I'm honored to be the final storyteller. And so my story tonight, we talk about daring greatly. We talk about being safe enough to try. And so for me, this is, I guess, a little courageous because it's work that I created as part of my studies at the University of Pittsburgh a long time ago. 1989, I was a 21-year-old kid in a children's literature class, studying to be an elementary teacher. And our project was to write a children's book. And I wrote it. It was graded. I can't remember the grade, but it went into an envelope and on a shelf, and it's probably been there for many, many years. I've had it here in the office, and I actually been located for a long time. Maybe didn't realize that it was even here. And so when I was cleaning up early during the closure, just trying to get more organized and be ready to tackle the challenges with a more organized office, I came across it. And so being safe enough to try and a little daring, I'm going to read my story to you from 1989. It's called Blubber, A Whale's Tale. Written and drawn 1989 by Randall A. Lutz, while my handwriting was absolutely atrocious, and it still is. Blubber, A Whale's Tale. Deep in the dark trenches of the great Pacific Ocean live many varieties of creatures. It is here that we can find Blubber, the not so great, not so happy whale. You see, Blubber is only a baby whale, and we all know how much children like to play. He was always swimming and diving and splashing and dashing and doing anything to keep himself entertained. The problem, though, is that Blubber did not have anyone to play with, and playing by himself all day was just boring. All the other fish stayed away from him, but he did not know why. Every time he went to find the others to play, they always had an excuse not to be around him. Blubber went to see Octopus. "Will you be my friend and play with me today?" he asked. "Definitely not," Octopus replied grumpily. "Can't you see I'm busy? I don't have enough time now to get all my work done. As it is, and you want me to play your silly games?" Blubber went away. He was sad. He came upon a school of fish. "Will you play with me?" asked Blubber. "We could have so much fun." "Fun, fun, fun. All you ever think about is games. We have studies to attend to, and besides, you're much too big to play with us. You would be sure to hurt us all." Blubber went away, and he was very sad. At last, Blubber caught up with Jimmy the Manta. "Jimmy is always ready to play," thought Blubber. "Jimmy, will you play with me?" asked Blubber. "No one else will. They are too busy, and they just don't want me around." "Well, I don't either," Jimmy snapped. "Why would I want to be around you? Whales are nothing but trouble. All you guys do is splash your big tails and squirt water through your spout. I could get hurt being around you." Blubber went away. He was very, very sad. Blubber went home and stayed with his mother. There was nothing to do all day long because no one wanted to play with a big, clumsy, ugly whale. His mother tried to explain the others think that whales are scary because of their size and their strength. "They think that you'll hurt them no matter what you do," and she replied. Blubber didn't want to hurt anyone. He just wanted to play and make some friends. He was very, very lonely. The next day when Blubber woke up, it was very quiet. Octopus was not there doing his work, and neither were the school of fish or Jimmy the manta. The ocean's very strange this morning, he thought. It is not usually this dark. When he looked up, he found the reason. He saw the bottom of a big fishing boat, and there, trapped in a big net, were all the others. What am I going to do? He cried. They are my neighbors. Even though they do not like me, I must do something. And without another thought, Blubber took off like a bullet straight for the fishing boat and the net. He reached the surface of the water and leapt into the air. All the men on the boat were very scared, and Blubber began thrashing and splashing, swimming and diving, but this time he wasn't playing around. He passed very close to the boat, being very careful to avoid the gunman and the harpooner. He then gathered all of his strength, reached back with his tail, and struck the side of the boat with all his might. The blow was so loud it was heard for miles. The tremendous force of Blubber's tail broke a huge hole in the side of the boat. Even though Blubber was a small whale, he had great power in that enormous tail. The men released the fishing net and quickly boarded the lifeboats as the boat began to sink. The net fell loose, and Octopus, the school of fish, and Jimmy all were saved. They all came over to thank Blubber for his great and brave deed. You are a hero, said Octopus. You saved our lives, exclaimed Jimmy. Thank you very much, replied the school. Then Octopus stepped forward. We all owe you an apology, he said very meekly. We have been very mean and selfish to you for quite a while, and you have been brave and courageous. You saved our lives, and we are sorry for what we have done. Come, Blubber, let us all go and play. Our work can wait, said Octopus. Blubber and his new friends played together all the time now. The sunken fishing boat was their favorite playground, since it was a reminder of that day when all the others found out that whales aren't so bad after all. The others thought that Blubber was truly a great whale. Now Blubber was very, very happy. So that's my story. I think appearances sometimes are not what we think that they are, and it sometimes is quite worthwhile to take a second look or take the time to get a chance to know people more than maybe how they first present or what we think of them as a first impression. So thank you for sharing or allowing me to share my story with you. Been in a drawer for a very, very long time, and again, in the spirit of daring greatly and taking a little bit of a risk and being a little vulnerable and sharing something of my past, I hope your evening was made a little better. I know mine has been, and so thank you for all that you have been doing with us and for us through the course of this closure. It truly has been something to remember, and here's looking to a wonderful summer and everyone getting a chance to relax, and then coming back, whatever the fall presents to us, being ready to go and really taking on the spirit of whatever the challenges are this fall as great Highlanders that we all are. So thank you and have a wonderful evening.